The massive scout ship of the Galactic Empire hung silently in the dark space beyond Pluto's orbit. Commander Wells stood on the bridge, his four eyes fixed on a holographic display showing the inner solar system. His scaled hands moved swiftly across the control panel as he reviewed the initial scan data. "Most interesting," he mumbled, touching one of his ceremonial rank markings, a nervous habit he had developed over his 3 centuries of service. "This system shouldn't have any advanced civilization." His second-in-command, Officer Reed, approached with a data tablet. "Sir, our deep scans show significant technological development on the 3rd planet, and smaller colonies on the 4th planet, and one of the gas giant's moons." Wells zoomed in on Earth, Mars, and Europa. The Empire had cataloged millions of civilizations, and their development patterns were always the same. But something about this one felt different. "Show me their military capabilities," Wells ordered, his throat sacs pulsing with curiosity. The hologram shifted, revealing Earth's orbital defense platforms, Mars's military bases, and Europa's submarine fleet. Wells's upper eyes widened while his lower ones narrowed, a sign of deep concern in his species. "This can't be right," he said, mandibles clicking. "These readings suggest their technology level is barely at spaceflight stage. Yet these defensive structures," he pointed at the orbital platforms, "these show signs of advanced shield technology and weapon systems we've only seen in Tier 2 civilizations." Reed analyzed the data again. "Sir, we've detected unusual energy signatures from their lunar base. They appear to be testing something similar to our quantum communication arrays." Wells paced the bridge, his ceremonial cape floating in the artificial gravity. The Empire had a standard procedure for handling pre-FTL civilizations: quick subjugation, resource extraction, and integration into the Empire's lower castes. But something about these humans made his scales itch. "Run a historical scan," he ordered. "I want to know how they developed so quickly." The ship's eye compiled centuries of Earth's radio and digital transmissions. As Wells reviewed the data, his concern grew into alarm. Unlike other species that develop through cooperation and gradual technological advancement, humans had driven their progress through endless conflict. "Look at this," he called Reed over. "Every major technological leap in their history is connected to warfare. Their space program, born from missile development. Their medical advancements, combat medicine. Their AI systems, military coordination." Reed's skin changed color slightly, his species equivalent of a concerned frown. "Sir, there's more. We've detected debris of non-human origin in their asteroid belt. The composition matches our own technology." Wells felt his heart skip a beat. "You mean?" "Yes, sir. They've been studying crashed Empire ships. Some of our scout vessels went missing in this sector over their last century. We always assumed they were lost to natural phenomena." Wells walked to the main viewport, staring at the distant blue marble that was Earth. His mission was supposed to be simple: identify potential conquest targets for the Empire's expansion. But these humans, they were different. He made his decision. Send a priority message to High Command. Recommend immediate dispatch of a diplomatic vessel with full military escort. "Sir?" Reed questioned. "Standard procedure for pre-FTL species is a single subjugation ship." Wells turned, all 4 eyes focused intensely on his officer. "These humans have been preparing for something. Look at their military bases, their defensive positions, their technology development. They're not just advancing, they're preparing for war. And not a war with themselves." He touched his rank markings again, feeling the weight of his decision. "They've been preparing for us, or something like us, and I have a feeling they're better prepared than we might expect. Surely you don't think they could resist the Empire?" Reed's skin now showed patches of disbelief purple. "I don't know," Wells admitted. "But I do know this. In all my centuries of scouting, I've never seen a species that evolved through constant warfare. The Empire has always faced species that had to learn to fight. These humans, fighting appears to be in their very nature. As the scout ship prepared to leave the solar system, Wells added one final note to his report: exercise extreme caution. Standard subjugation protocols may prove inadequate. These humans are not like the others. Little did Commander Wells know that his warning would prove to be tragically understated. The Empire was about to learn why humanity's violent history had forged them into something unprecedented in the galaxy, and why underestimating them would be the Empire's greatest mistake. 3 Empire warships emerged from faster-than-light travel near Jupiter, their golden hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. The diplomatic vessel, twice the size of the others, took the lead. Inside its command center, High Envoy Turner adjusted his ceremonial robes, preparing to deliver the Empire's standard conquest speech. Approaching Earth orbit in 20 minutes, announced the ship's eye. Human defense platforms are tracking us. Turner smiled, revealing rows of crystalline teeth. As expected from primitives, let them watch their new masters arrive. On Earth, deep within the United Nations Space Command headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Thompson stood before a massive holographic display. Her gray uniform bore no medals. Humans had learned long ago that decorated officers made easy targets. All orbital platforms report ready, her tactical officer announced. Mars Defense Force is on standby. Europa Fleet is in position. Thompson watched the alien ships approach. For over a century, humanity had prepared for this moment. Ever since they'd discovered the crashed alien ship in the Atacama Desert, they knew first contact wouldn't be peaceful. Open communications when they enter lunar orbit, she ordered. Let's play their game for now. The Empire ships sailed past the moon, seemingly ignorant of the massive gun batteries hidden beneath the lunar surface. As they entered Earth orbit, the diplomatic vessel broadcast on all frequencies. Primitive species of Earth, High Envoy Turner's voice boomed in every language simultaneously. You are honored to be chosen for integration into the Galactic Empire. Submit to our authority, and you shall serve as a valued lower caste. Resist, and face annihilation. In the command center, Thompson allowed herself a small smile. Send our response. Audio only. This is Admiral Thompson of the United Nations Space Command. We appreciate your offer and invite you to a face-to-face meeting. Our diplomatic facility in Geneva awaits. Turner's 4 eyes blinked in surprise. The response was too calm, too prepared. These humans should be panicking at their first alien contact. Perhaps you misunderstand, he broadcast again. This is not a negotiation. We are your new rulers. To demonstrate our power, we will now disable your primitive orbital defenses. The Empire's warships moved into attack position, their energy weapons charging with a purple glow. Turner expected the humans to beg for mercy. Instead, he heard laughter over the communication channel. I was hoping you'd do that. Thompson's voice carried a hint of amusement. Weapons free, all platforms. Show them what humanity has learned from their crashed ships. Before Turner could respond, Earth's orbital platforms revealed their true nature. What had appeared to be simple satellite arrays transformed, panels sliding away to expose weapon systems clearly based on Empire technology. Impossible. Turner shouted as his tactical display lit up with warnings. They're using our own shield frequencies. The first volley from Earth's defenses struck with devastating precision. Humanity had spent decades studying Empire shield technology, learning its weaknesses. The kinetic rounds, accelerated to near-light speed, passed through the Empire's energy shields as if they weren't there. One of the escort ships erupted in flames as rounds tore through its engine core. The other spun wildly, its bridge section completely destroyed. Launch fighters, Turner commanded, his ceremonial robes forgotten in the chaos. Begin ground invasion. But as Empire fighters poured from the diplomatic vessel's hangars, they met another surprise. Small, sleek human fighters emerged from hidden moon bases, engaging with impossible maneuverability. Sir, his tactical officer's voice shook. The humans, they're using modified versions of our neural interface systems. Their pilots are reacting faster than our AI can predict. Turner watched in horror as decades of human preparation and reverse-engineered technology tore through his forces. In orbit, more defense platforms activated. From Mars, missile swarms launched toward his position. From Europa, something massive was rising from beneath the ice. "Send emergency withdrawal signal," Turner ordered, his crystalline teeth chattering in fear. All forces retreat. But Admiral Thompson wasn't finished. As the diplomatic vessel turned to flee, she gave one final order. "Show them our latest breakthrough. Fire the null drive disruptor." A beam of strange dark energy shot from an orbital platform, striking Turner's ship. His faster-than-light drive exploded in a cascade of quantum particles. The last thing Turner heard before impact was Thompson's voice. "Welcome to Earth. Next time, try asking nicely." As debris from the Empire ships rained through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, humanity prepared for what they knew would come next. The real war was about to begin. Grand Fleet Commander Stone of the Galactic Empire stood before the massive viewscreen, watching his 1,000 ships emerge from faster-than-light travel near Mars. His facial scales had darkened with rage after reading reports of the diplomatic mission's failure. "These primitive humans dare to destroy Imperial vessels," he growled, his claws leaving marks on the command rail. "We will show them the true might of the Empire." But something was wrong. His tactical display showed no human ships in orbit around Mars. The colonies they detected earlier appeared abandoned. "Full scan of the surface," he ordered. "Find them." In the underground command bunker of Mars Base 1, Lieutenant Walker watched the Empire fleet's formation through advanced sensor arrays. He smiled as the enemy ships moved exactly where they wanted them. "All units in position," he reported to Admiral Thompson back on Earth. They took the bait. Thompson's hologram nodded. "Commence Operation Dust Storm." Walker pressed his palm against the DNA scanner. Authorization confirmed. Releasing the swarm. Across the red planet's surface, hidden doors in the rust-colored soil slid open. Thousands of small spherical devices rose into the thin Martian atmosphere, each no bigger than a tennis ball. On Stone's flagship, a junior officer noticed the readings. "Sir," detecting minor power signatures from the surface. "Possibly primitive defense drones." Stone laughed. "Pathetic. All ships, power weapons, will glass their colony from orbit." But as the Empire fleet charged their energy weapons, the small spheres reached their positions. Each contained technology reverse-engineered from the Empire's own shield systems, with a human twist. "Now," Walker commanded. The spheres activated simultaneously. Instead of projecting shields outward, they created a web of overlapping fields that pulled inward. The effect on the Empire ships was devastating. "What's happening?" Stone roared as his fleet's shields collapsed. The modified fields weren't just neutralizing their defenses, they were pulling the energy back into the ship's own systems. "Sir, our shield generators are overloading," his engineering officer screamed. "The humans have somehow reversed the quantum field harmonics." Across the fleet, shield generators exploded, leaving the Empire's ships exposed. But Walker wasn't finished. "Launch surface batteries," he ordered calmly. Hidden missile silos opened across Mars's surface. Unlike the energy weapons the Empire relied on, these fired solid projectiles. Simple tungsten rods accelerated to incredible speeds. Against unshielded ships, they were devastating. Stone watched in horror as the primitive kinetic weapons tore through his fleet's armor like paper. "Impossible. Their technology is centuries behind ours." "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted, "we're detecting more human ships. They're rising from beneath the Martian surface. From underground hangars, humanity's own warships emerge. They were smaller than Empire vessels, but more maneuverable, their designs optimized through centuries of warfare on Earth. All Earth pattern ships, engage," Walker commanded. "Show them how humans wage war." The battle that followed shocked the Empire to its core. Human ships didn't follow standard combat patterns. They fought like Earth's ancient fighter pilots, using maneuvers that seemed suicidal, but proved lethal. They're not using AI combat systems, Stone realized too late. Their ships are manually controlled. No Empire combat computer could predict the seemingly random, yet devastatingly effective tactics of human pilots trained in centuries of aerial combat doctrine. Stone watched his mighty fleet torn apart by an enemy he'd dismissed as primitive. Half his ships were already destroyed or disabled, their crews unable to cope with humanity's unconventional warfare. "Full retreat," he ordered, his proud voice now shaking. "All ships, emergency withdrawal." But as his surviving ships tried to activate their faster-than-light drives, they discovered one final human surprise. "Sir," his navigation officer reported, terror in his voice, "something's wrong with local spacetime. Our drives, they can't lock onto safe coordinates." Walker smiled as he watched the Empire ship struggle against the quantum disruption field humanity had developed. "Did you really think we'd let you run away to report our capabilities?" Stone realized, in his final moments, the Empire's greatest mistake. They had judged humanity's technology by what they could see. They never considered that humans had spent centuries preparing for this exact moment, hiding their true capabilities until the enemy was in the perfect position. The Battle of Mars would go down in Empire records as the day they learned a crucial lesson. Never assume that a species' age determines their combat effectiveness. Sometimes, the youngest races are the deadliest. Fleet Captain Morris stood on the bridge of the UES Thunderbolt, Earth's newest warship, as it prepared for humanity's first faster-than-light jump. The crew worked silently at their stations, each person aware of the historic moment. "All ships report ready," his executive officer announced. "Strike fleet is in formation." Morris nodded, his weathered face reflecting the blue glow of the holographic displays. 20 years of naval service had prepared him for this moment. "Begin Operation Thunderbolt. Show them why you don't pick a fight with Earth." In the vast darkness of space, 50 human warships activated their drives simultaneously. They disappeared in flashes of light, leaving Earth's solar system for the first time in human history, or so the Empire believed. At the Empire's forward base Delta, Base Commander Hunt was reviewing reports of the Mars disaster when his sensors officer screamed in panic. "Multiple FTL signatures, ships appearing in system." Hunt's upper eyes widened in shock as human vessels materialized around his base. "Impossible. They don't have FTL capability." "Sir," Morris's voice came through all communication channels, "I believe it's time we stopped pretending." The Thunderbolt opened fire first, its main gun launching a projectile at near-light speed. The round passed through the base's shields as if they weren't there and struck the main reactor. Hunt watched in horror as secondary explosions began chain-reacting through his command. "Launch all fighters," he ordered. "Contact Imperial High Command." But before his communications officer could act, more human ships appeared, directly between his base and the FTL relay station. Looking for this, Morris's voice carried a hint of amusement as human ships destroyed the relay. "We've been studying your communication networks for decades. Did you really think those scout ships you lost just disappeared by accident?" Across 3 sectors of Empire space, the same scene played out. Human strike groups appeared simultaneously at key military installations, using tactics and technology that should have been centuries beyond their capability. On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Morris watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Launch Phase 2. From the holds of the human ships, smaller vessels emerged. They were unlike anything the Empire had seen before, ships that seemed to fade in and out of reality itself. "Ghost ships, commence infiltration," Morris commanded. The experimental vessels, using technology reversed engineered from crashed Empire ships and enhanced by human innovation, slipped through the Empire's defensive lines as if they weren't there. Their quantum phase drives let them partially exist in multiple dimensions, making them nearly impossible to detect or stop. Hunt watched helplessly as his base's defenses fell. The humans weren't just winning. They were systematically dismantling everything the Empire had built in this sector of space. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, voice shaking, "we're detecting more human ships. They're coming from behind our lines. But that's impossible. There's no way they could have gotten ships that deep into Empire space." But they had. For years before this moment, humanity had been secretly seeding Empire territory with stealth bases and hidden fleets, preparing for this exact day. All Empire forces hunt broadcast on emergency channels. The humans have FTL capability. They'd been hiding their true technology level. "Retreat to." His message cut off as a human ghost ship phased through his base's walls and materialized inside the command center. Marine Captain Rogers stepped out, her powered armor making her tower over the alien commander. "Base Commander Hunt," she said calmly, "I suggest you order your forces to stand down. We'd prefer to keep casualties to a minimum." In just 1 week of operation, humanity's counterattack had captured 3 strategic sectors of Empire space. The gifts they'd extracted from crashed Empire ships, combined with humanity's unique approach to warfare, had turned what should have been a simple conquest into the Empire's worst nightmare. As Morris prepared his fleet for the next phase of attacks, he sent a simple message back to Earth Command. "Operation Thunderbolt successful. The Empire never saw us coming. Proceeding to Phase 3. Their capital worlds won't know what hit them." The galaxy was about to learn why humanity's apparent technological limitations had been the greatest deception in military history. In the Empire's Central Intelligence Archive, Senior Analyst Baker stared at his screens with growing horror. Emergency reports flooded in from across Empire space, each worse than the last. 3 sector bases lost in a week, he muttered, his scaled fingers trembling as they moved across the holographic displays. "No Empire species has ever achieved this. What are these humans?" His research partner, Analyst Reed, burst into the room. "Baker, you need to see this. We've decoded their historical records." The massive screen filled with images from Earth's past, ancient armies clashing with swords, massive naval fleets exchanging broadsides, aerial dogfights, tanks rolling across battlefields, and nuclear explosions lighting up skies. "This can't be right," Baker whispered. According to these records, they'd been at war with themselves constantly for their entire history. Reed nodded, her color-shifting skin showing patterns of deep concern. "Every major civilization we've encountered evolved through cooperation. Their wars only started after achieving spaceflight. But humans, they evolved through conflict," Baker finished. "Their entire history is an arms race with themselves." More reports flashed across their screens. Empire commanders across the galaxy were sending desperate messages. "Do not engage the humans. They were ready for us. Their technologies URPAs is our estimates. Retreat. Retur." Baker pulled up the analysis of human military doctrine. "Look at this. They've been preparing for interstellar war before they even knew we existed. Every piece of technology they developed had military applications in mind. Their medical technology," Reed noted, "developed to save soldiers. Their space program started as a military race. Their AI systems, created for combat prediction." Baker's scales paled as he realized the truth. "We judged them by their apparent level of technological advancement. But they weren't primitive. They were hiding their true capabilities." A new emergency signal flashed on their screens. The Empire's Third Fleet had just encountered human ships near the core systems. The battle footage made both analysts freeze in terror. Human vessels phased through solid matter, their ghost drive technology making Empire defenses useless. Kinetic weapons tears through shields designed to stop energy weapons. Small, agile human fighters outmaneuvered Empire ships using impossible tactics. "Their pilots," Reed gasped, "they're not using combat A's. They're flying manually. No species has done that in 10,000 years." Baker pulled up more historical data. Because no species has spent their entire history fighting. Look at this. They have combat doctrines older than our empire. They've been refining the art of war since they first picked up stones as weapons. The emergency broadcasts continued. They're everywhere. They had hidden bases in our territory before the war even started. Their ships can appear anywhere. Our sensors can't track them. They're not just winning. They're hunting us. Baker sent an urgent message to the Imperial High Command. Extreme danger. Humans, unique key, among all known species, evolve due through warfare. Recommend 8 cessation of hostilities. But it was too late. The humans had spent centuries preparing for this moment, hiding their true strength until the Empire struck first. Now, humanity's full military might was unleashed. Reed's color patterns showed pure fear as she analyzed the combat footage. Their tactics, they're using strategies from their ancient wars, naval maneuvers from their ocean battles, fighter tactics from their aerial combat history, ground warfare doctrine from centuries of terrestrial conflicts. We thought they were young and inexperienced, Baker said, watching another Empire fleet fall to human forces. But they have more combat experience than any species we've ever encountered. They're not learning how to fight. They're teaching us how much we don't know about warfare. As they watched the Empire's defenses crumble before the human onslaught, Baker added one final note to his report. Warning to all Empire forces, to not underestimate humans. Their entire civilization as a woe pavan THEYVEVE in HRP9. Isa and sees the FOREVAY MEST or D fire. The warning spread across Empire space, but for many, it came too late. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this war, and now the galaxy would learn why Earth's history of conflict had created the most dangerous species in known space. The Imperial High Council chamber had never been so crowded. Representatives from all Empire worlds filled the massive hall, their various forms showing signs of fear and anger. Grand Emperor Hill stood before them, his ceremonial armor doing little to hide his shaking hands. 5 sectors lost in 2 weeks, he announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. Our fleets scattered, our bases captured or destroyed. And now these humans approach our core systems. The chamber erupted in chaos. Council members shouted over each other. How did we not see their true strength? They were waiting for us to attack. We must surrender before they reach the homeworlds. Suddenly, all communication systems in the chamber activated at once. Admiral Thompson's hologram appeared in the center of the room, making the Empire leaders step back in shock. Greetings, Grand Emperor, she said calmly. I believe it's time we had a proper discussion. Hill's scales darkened with rage. How dare you hack into our secure chamber? This is the heart of the Empire. Thompson smiled. Grand Emperor, we've been in your secure networks for decades. Those scout ships you lost near Earth, we didn't just study their technology. We copied their entire database. The chamber fell silent. The implications were staggering. The humans hadn't just prepared for war. They had been inside the Empire's systems before the first shot was fired. Impossible, Hill whispered. Our systems are protected by quantum encryption, which we cracked 30 years ago, Thompson replied. We've been reading your mail for quite some time. Now, let's discuss terms. Before Hill could respond, emergency alerts flashed across every screen in the chamber. Defense stations around 3 core worlds had just gone dark. Human ghost ships appeared in orbit, their weapons aimed at the planets below. As you can see, Thompson continued, we could end this war right now. But unlike your empire, we don't believe in unnecessary bloodshed. Military Commander Stone burst into the chamber. My Emperor, we've discovered human bases throughout our territory. They've been building them in secret for years. Their ghost drive technology. They could have struck at any time. Hill sank into his throne, finally understanding. You were never the primitive species we thought you were. No, Thompson agreed. We simply knew that the best way to win a war is to be underestimated. Your empire isn't the first alien civilization we've detected, just the first to make the mistake of attacking us. The council members looked at each other in horror. Humanity had known about them, had prepared for them, had infiltrated them, all while pretending to be a simple pre-FTL civilization. Your terms? Hill asked, his voice barely a whisper. Thompson's hologram walked around the chamber, looking at each council member. First, you will acknowledge Earth and all human colonies as a sovereign, independent power. Second, you will cease all attempts at conquering pre-FTL civilizations. Third, you will share your technology freely with peaceful species. You would destroy our empire, a council member shouted. No, Thompson corrected. We would transform it from an empire of conquest into a confederation of equals. You have 1 hour to decide. If you refuse, she gestured, and more human ships appeared in orbit around the Empire's worlds. Hill looked at his council members, then back at Thompson. You could have destroyed us at any time. Why offer terms now? Because humans understand something your empire never learned, Thompson replied. The strongest civilization isn't the one that conquers the most worlds. It's the one that turns enemies into allies. As the council debated their response, Hill realized that humanity hadn't just outsmarted them militarily. They had demonstrated a mastery of strategy that went beyond simple warfare. They had waited, watched, and struck at the perfect moment to force not just military victory, but complete political transformation. The Empire's age of conquest was ending, not with a dramatic last battle, but with the quiet realization that they had severely underestimated humanity's capacity for both warfare and peace. 1 year after the Empire's surrender, the Great Hall of the newly formed Galactic Council looked very different. Where once only Empire representatives sat, now delegates from hundreds of species filled the chamber. At the center table, Admiral Thompson sat beside former Grand Emperor Hill, now serving as the Council's co-chair. The integration of the former Empire worlds proceeds smoothly, Hill reported, his scales showing peaceful blue patterns. Thanks to human assistance, 15 more pre-FTL civilizations have joined the Council this month. Thompson nodded, watching the diverse gathering with satisfaction. The war that everyone had expected to last years had ended in weeks, but its effects had transformed the galaxy. A junior officer rushed into the chamber, interrupting the session. Admiral, we've detected something at the galaxy's edge, a ship, like nothing we've ever seen before. The massive screen showed a vessel larger than anything in known space. Its design was completely alien, even to the Empire's extensive databases. Hill's scales paled. Is this why? Is this what humans were preparing for all along? Thompson smiled. Now you understand. We detected their signals 50 years ago. The Empire wasn't the first advanced civilization we discovered, just the first to find us. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Empire Analyst Baker, now head of the Council's Intelligence Division, stepped forward. You mean everything. The ghost drives, the quantum weapons, the hidden bases. It wasn't just to defend against the Empire. Humanity learned early in our history, Thompson explained, that you must be prepared not just for the enemy you see, but for the one you don't. We knew something was coming from beyond our galaxy, something that had wiped out civilizations before. She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing thousands of human warships hidden in dimensional pockets throughout the galaxy. The Empire hadn't faced humanity's full strength. They had seen only what humans wanted them to see. That's why we didn't destroy the Empire, Thompson continued. We needed to unite the galaxy, every species, every planet, every piece of technology and knowledge. We'll need it all for what's coming. Hill finally understood. The terms of surrender, making us share technology, stopping our conquests, forming the Council. You were building an alliance. Look at your Empire's history. Thompson said. You conquered species one by one, forcing them into castes, taking their resources. But humanity learned through our own bloody history. The strongest army is one that fights for a cause they believe in, not one that fights because they're forced to. The alien ship at the galaxy's edge launched smaller vessels. They moved with impossible speed, unlike anything even humans had developed. All council species, Thompson announced, standing. This is the moment humanity has prepared for. Not just for years or decades, but for centuries. We guided the galaxy from an empire of conquest to an alliance of equals because united, we stand a chance. Divided, we would fall. Baker's analysis appeared on the screens. The approaching ships carried weapons that could tear apart stars. Their armor could withstand supernovas. They had destroyed dozens of galaxies before reaching this one. But they had never encountered a galaxy united and prepared. This is why we revealed only a fraction of our technology during the war, Thompson explained. Why we kept our greatest weapons hidden. Not because we feared the Empire, but because we needed to ensure these invaders couldn't learn our capabilities through your databases. Hill looked at Thompson with new respect. You didn't just outthink us in battle. You used our own aggression to forge an alliance that might save us all. Throughout the chamber, representatives of former Empire worlds and newly uplifted civilizations stood together. Species that had been enemies months ago now prepared to fight side by side. Thompson faced the assembly. The Empire's war with humanity lasted 3 weeks, but it served its purpose, teaching the galaxy that cooperation is stronger than conquest. Now let's show these invaders why they should have picked another galaxy to threaten. As the council chambers transformed into a war room, the galaxy prepared for a real war. The Empire's defeat had been merely humanity's dress rehearsal for the true battle to come. And this time, the entire galaxy would fight as one. ***.